Mangwanani Mwalelepo Fukenjani Klas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, your reliable source for news stemming from the African continent and beyond. On today's show, Burundi's ruling party tightens its grip as opposition voices are shut out of the parliamentary race. In Liberia, former Speaker Jonathan Kofa faces arson charges following a dramatic parliament fire. Ghana's former finance minister becomes a wanted man again. We also spotlight Eastern Congo, where students take national exams under rebel rule, and travel to Zambia to explore the forgotten brilliance of African knowledge systems, as well as Mike Sichula's comprehensive Zambia report. In economic news, Botswana's diamond industry takes a hit and South Africa scrambles to contain a livestock disease. Watch us on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, oneup2.com and NTV Africa on YouTube. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly.
Taking flight has never been easier. Paratus is introducing Sky-Fi internet packages with speeds that will have you reaching for your seatbelts, starting from $500 Namibian excluding VAT per month, with speeds reaching up to 10 megabits per second. There's even a prepaid option where you can top up your Sky-Fi internet for just $15 Namibian per gigabyte. No contracts, no fuss. Visit your nearest Paratus branch to find out more, or go to paratus.africa/Namibia to sign up online.
Always prepared, Paratus.
Let's get into the top stories. Burundi's latest parliamentary election has drawn criticism after the National Freedom Council, CNL, main opposition party was barred from participating. Now, it had secured second place in the 2020 elections despite fraud allegations and was suspended by the Interior Ministry in 2023 over supposed procedural irregularities. With their exclusion, the ruling party is poised to sweep the vote uncontested, reinforcing its grip on power. Observers argue this further entrenches authoritarianism amid growing public dissatisfaction over economic mismanagement and political repression. Human rights groups have flagged a broader trend of shrinking democratic space in Central Africa, noting the suppression of opposition voices and media freedoms. In Burundi's case, the electoral environment was already tense, with claims of intimidation, arrests, and violence against opposition supporters. While President Evariste Ndayishimiye faces internal dissent, these tightly controlled elections signal a continued trajectory away from pluralism and transparency. Critics argue the regime is using legal and institutional tools to sideline dissent and maintain control. Liberia's former Speaker of Parliament, Jonathan Kofa, has been charged with arson and multiple other crimes after a December 2024 fire destroyed the country's House of Representatives. The blaze erupted a day after protests erupted over plans to remove Kofa, who had faced impeachment attempts due to alleged corruption and conflicts of interest. Though he denied involvement, police now claim there are credible links suggesting he strategically coordinated sabotage from November 2023. 5 lawmakers have been detained, with Kofa, 3 current MPs and others remanded to Monrovia Central Prison. The fire was confirmed to be deliberate by U.S. investigators. Representative Frank Saafoko is also under scrutiny after reportedly threatening on social media to burn the chambers. Although Kofa's impeachment attempt failed to reach the required 2/3 majority, political rivals had declared their own speaker. Following months of deadlock, Kofa resigned last month. The case underscores a deepening power struggle within Liberia's legislature. Interpol has issued a red notice for Ghana's former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta, labeling him a fugitive after he failed to appear before an investigative panel probing alleged corruption. Accused of using public office for profit and causing financial losses to the state, particularly around the controversial $58 million spent on a yet unfinished national cathedral. Ofori-Atta has claimed he is out of the country for medical treatment. His legal team says they submitted medical documents in good faith, but prosecutors ignored them. Initially taken off the wanted list in February after providing a return date, Ofori Atta was relisted in early June after missing proceedings. Ghana's new president, John Mahama, launched Operation Recover All Loot in January, with over $20 billion in alleged corruption flagged. While the drive has gained praise, Mahama faces criticism for dropping some cases against allies. Ofori Atta served as finance minister from 2017 until early 2024 under the now defeated New Patriotic Party government. Tens of thousands of secondary school students in eastern Congo have begun their state exams despite the region being under the control of M23 rebels. In an unusual show of cooperation, the Congolese government and the Rwanda-backed insurgents coordinated to allow the exams, which are essential for university entry, to proceed. Education officials personally escorted materials from Kinshasa to M23 held towns, ensuring all 111 centers in South Kivu were served. President Felix Tshisekedi's government waived exam fees for students in conflict-hit North and South Kivu provinces. M23 leader Bertrand Bisimwa affirmed the group's recognition of Kinshasa's authority over national exams, calling education apolitical and vital. While the group has been accused of human rights abuses, including killing civilians, students like Akaus Katete reported calm conditions during the exams, with M23 providing security. Nearly 42,000 of 44,000 registered students in South Kivu showed up, though some are believed to have been displaced by ongoing conflict. And a wooden hunter's toolbox etched with sonar symbols has ignited interest in Zambia's overlooked intellectual heritage. Through the Women's History Museum of Zambia, co-founder Samba Yonga is spotlighting sonar, a once widely used, now obscure system of geometric writing rooted in Zambia, Angola, and DRC. It's part of a broader frame project using striking social media images to challenge myths that Africans had no indigenous writing systems. 50 artifacts, including sacred masks and century-old Batwa leather cloaks, reveal women as central to pre-colonial knowledge systems and environmental stewardship and social organization. Many of these items, like the mealie grinder used as a tombstone or the sonar symbols carved into ceremonial objects, highlight how colonialism erased women's contributions. Rediscovered in Swedish museums that hold over 600 Zambian items, these treasures are now being reconnected to communities, even as some oral knowledge has vanished. Yonga calls this research a treasure hunt, hoping to restore Zambians' cultural pride and redefine how the world views Africa's intellectual legacy. The project is not just historical, they consider it healing, political, and profoundly personal. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we'll be getting a comprehensive report from Zambia delivered by Mike Sichula. But prior to that, it's the weather. It's time for Mike Sichula to join us as he delivers the Zambia report. Mike Ribanji.
Nilebwino Muribanji, Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. Now, the biggest news story in Zambia is a man who was the biggest news story perhaps for the last decade, Mr. Edgar Lungu, who passed away last week, Zambia's sixth president. There has been some shaky footing with regards to the politicization of his funeral. What is the latest news regarding former President Edgar Lungu's funeral, Mike?
Wow, quite an interesting turn of events. Like you've said, it has been a very shaky aftermath. Truly, that is what has been happening. So what is happening as at now is that the body of the former president is still in South Africa. According to the Secretary to Cabinet, Mr. Patrick Kangwa, the body of Mr. Lungu is supposed to arrive in the country this Wednesday. When he held a media briefing over the weekend, he did say that Mr. Lungu, has been honored with a 7 days national mourning beginning from Sunday, and he'll be buried on this coming Saturday. And the government also made one of the government lodges in the country to be the official mourning place for Mr. Lungu. Then the repatriation of his remains is now what has remained to be a shaky kind of state of affairs. That is Mr. Lungu with his wife. One of the latest images that has come when he was in South Africa. So that image was captured by one of the people that met Mr. Lungu, one of the residents where he used to stay in South Africa when he was doing his routine jogs. So now the issue is that the family of Mr. Lungu, represented by one of his lawyers, Matebi Zuru, they have said that they want the remains they want to be in charge of repatriating his remains because they say it was his wish that he be managed privately. Why this is happening is that because according to Mr. Lungu, before he died, he said that the fact that the Zambian government denied him permission to go for medicals in South Africa, they should not take charge of his remains once he died because they didn't care in the first case that he needed to go and seek medical treatment abroad. So that is what the position of the family has said. But the bone of contention is that Mr. Lungu, even if he went to South Africa in his own personal capacity, he remains a state property by virtue of him being a former president of this country. So these issues have happened in the past. We saw it during the death of the first Republican president, Dr. Kaunda. The family also wanted his funeral to be held in a public ceremony, but that was denied by government because according to the constitution of Zambia, a former president becomes a state property and he must be accorded a state funeral. But the family of Mr. Lungu is not denying this. What they are just objecting is the decision by the government to take full center stage in repatriating his remains from South Africa into Zambia. What they are saying that they can manage the repatriation of his remains to Zambia. Then upon arrival in Zambia, the government can take over the funeral. That is what is happening. But there seems to be a deadlock with regard of this state of affairs. Then the other issue, like I did say, there are now about 3 points where the funeral of Mr. Lungu is being held. The Patriotic Front is also having the funeral gathering at the party secretariat. Then the government has also set one of the government lodges as a funeral center. But most of the people, as I speak to, are gathering at the Patriotic Front secretariat. Few people are going to the government organized funeral center. Maybe things might change as the day progresses in terms of how Mr. Lungu should be buried.
Yes, really tumultuous to say the least, Mr. Sichula. And yes, indeed, maybe things will change once the body comes through. And we know that this contention comes from the deeply entrenched, for lack of a better word, beef between His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema and former President Edgar Lungu, who once jailed Hakainde Hichilema. And a lot of the people who are part of Lungu's faction or political sphere of influence feel that Hichilema had a part in making sure that Lungu wouldn't be able to compete in the upcoming election when, as we know, that's just a result of the constitution being as it is. So we'll be getting more details from you, Mike, and we'll certainly be looking forward to that. But for now, let's move over to some positive economic prospects. The establishment of rail connectivity between Zambia and Botswana has been planned.
Yes, so speaking in Kasane, Botswana, Zambia's transport minister, Mr. Frank Tayari, said that the strategic direction which the two countries have finalized will be important in order to ensure advancement of this rail project. So the project is currently at the stage of feasibility study, where about 430 kilometers of rail line will be co-financed by Zambia and Botswana. So this project is one of those that seeks to ensure that there's an alternative mode of transport away from the usual linkage between Zambia and Botswana through the Kazungura bridge. So this one wants to create a situation whereby others can use the road network, others can use the rail line. Those who can fly, they can fly. So it is a project that is worth uh, uh, to be supported. So Botswana is also thinking that once the feasibility study is concluded, Botswana should have hold of it so that they can also make other suggestions on how this project should go.
All right, Mike will certainly be keeping an eye on that. Now, the decision by the government to permit street vending nationwide has been overturned.
Yes, quite an interesting piece of information. So what Hakainde Hichilema was celebrating his birthday, there was a public rally at one of the bus stations in Lusaka. That initiative where bus owners were offering free rides for that were born this month and on the day when President Hakainde Hichilema was born. So one of the ministers who is in charge of local government during that same event, he claims that he was misquoted by one of the tabloids. But when he said people should be afraid on the streets because this is the freedom that they voted for in 2021. So this statement was believed. That is him there in the picture, Mr. Gift Sialubali, who is the Minister of Local Government. So that message that he said was concluded by street vendors who, upon just hearing that message, they went into the street, started demarcating where they can be trading from. But legally in Zambia, street vending was banned. So a number of people condemned the minister for what he called a U-turning on street vending to encourage street vending. Because the last time the vendors were removed from the streets, over 600 people died from cholera, which was attributed to uncontrolled street vending in the central business district. But this decision has been turned to say it did not allow people to go back on the streets. The street vendors are supposed to trade in areas where they have been told to trade from, which is the markets and other markets that have been built by the government.
Mike, just before we get into the sports news, tell us about last week where 1,500 people from both domestic and foreign countries attended the Zambia Travel Expo in Lusaka.
Yes, so these 28 companies were coming from 7 countries within the region and others outside the region. So this event, according to the Zambia Tourism Agency, is aimed at creating a one-stop border, a one-stop platform where traders and also businesses in the hospitality industry, those involved in the transport sector, can meet at one platform and chat a way forward on how to promote business as well as traveling within this sector. So it is something that the buyers are, according to the agency, they say the buyers are key in global tourism trade, responsible for promoting destinations around the world. So the expo provided a platform for showcasing Zambia's diverse tourism products to the global market. So this year's expo was held under the theme Sustainable Tourism Driving Inclusive Growth. So it was something that was good according to the Zambia Tourism Agency.
All right, Mike, now in sports, Chipolopolo boys, citing unpaid allowances, boycotted 2 international friendly matches against Sudan and Tunisia.
Wow, this is one of the first incidences under the new administration led by Mr. Keith Mwemba. It is the first time that the Chipolopolo boys have failed to own up to an international friendly. So according to the first president, Mr. Keith Mwemba, he said that he was disappointed by the acts of players who boycotted these 2 international friendlies because they were claiming that they have not been paid. And truly speaking, they have not been paid their allowances from as far back as 2023. However, after the first president held this press briefing last week, a number of senior players posted on their personal Facebook pages that the issue of them not turning up to feature for Zambia during the 2 international friendly matches was not their own doing. They said that the team manager informed them on Monday last week that the 2 friendly matches have been cancelled, hence they did not turn up. They also said that even if these allowances have been outstanding as far back as 2023, they have never taken away their responsibility to represent the country. They said that they remain committed to play for Zambia, but it must be done in transparency and with respect whenever they are called to the national team. So we await to see what the response of the Football Association of Zambia to this statement that the senior national players issued. So among these senior national players we're talking about is Patson Daka, Kingsley Kangwa, Kennedy Musonda, Emmanuel Banda, and Cletus Chama, among others. They refused to be drawn into the debate that they boycotted because they are owed allowances. They said that they did not show up because the team manager told them that the friendlies have been called off.
All right, wow, very interesting developments. But thank you very much for bringing us the comprehensive Zambia report, Mike.
Thank you very much. Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. And that has been our show on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, oneup2.com, and NTV Africa on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow as Talent Gore joins us with the Zimbabwe report. And prior to that, the top stories from across the continent. From me, Ashwin Bedi, and the Africa Good Morning team. Swera Zwakanaka.